If this opening makes you think of anybody in particular, then you have to throw a like and a sub to the channel. With that said, I have two simple requests. Just close your eyes and listen. Many major shonen series, honestly, just mini series in general, will have multiple senseis or teachers within the series. These teachers have more responsibility than almost any character in the series, yet we never think of them in this light. The best teachers are responsible for teaching the youth, introducing the readers to world power scaling, dealing with their own past demons, risking their lives for the next generation, providing comic relief, protecting our protagonist, taking out top-tier antagonists, and finding their own lane for character growth. With so many responsibilities, it's no wonder why we always grow to love the teachers and stories. Now you can open your eyes. And remember our promise. If I made you think of anybody, then you have to throw a like and a sub to the channel. And go ahead and let me know down below who I made you think of. Some of the teachers that come to mind for me are Kakashi, Genkai, Yami, Levi, All Might, Rayleigh, Jiraiya, and most importantly for this video today, Vice Captain Soshiro Hoshina. Now I gotta do my man Hoshina right in this video because he is actually my favorite character in the series.
Hi, Kevin. I'm your biggest fan.
From appearance, Captain Hoshina represents absolute drip.
I'm your biggest fan.
Hoshina's swole, has dark violet hair, and his eyes are almost always shut, unless he's getting serious, of course. More recently, we've seen him in the 10 suit, and honestly, the only suit that compares in appearance is the number 1 suit. But the dynamic of Hoshina's suit interacting with him makes him have the best numbered suit in my fanboy eyes. Hoshina is such an awesome character for so many reasons. From what we've seen so far, I can confidently say Hoshina is the hardest worker in the series. From the countless late nights doing Kaiju research for the Defense Force, to training all the young Defense Force members, and don't forget the endless hours he trains his blade fighting style. But we will get into that later. He's one of the few characters that has a suit output percentage over 90%. He's the rock that Kafka can always lean on. He's the classic badass blade user. He's the man that always remains calm. He put his life on the line to fight Kaiju number 10 by himself. And one of the best parts about Hoshina is that he's the comic relief for the reader, yet he thinks that Kafka's the comic relief for everybody else. On top of this, some of the best moments in the series involve Hoshina. Think about whenever Hoshina pulled up to fight Kafka for the first time as Kaiju number 8, and we learned that Hoshina is quite literally the 3rd Division's neutralization squad by himself. And then right after that, he goes on to fight Kafka and is jumping building to building, and just really seeing Hoshina in action for the first time was crazy. And if we go even further into the story, the fight with him and Kaiju number 10 dog, that multi-chapter fight, that was one of the best fights in this whole series so far. Right now we know that Soshiro Hoshina is the vice captain of the 3rd Division in the Japan Defense Force, and he is the registered user of the number 10 weapon suit. But the real question is, how did he get here? Now, we do have young Soshiro pictures, and to be honest with you, he hasn't changed in appearance much at all since he was a jit. Bro was just a mini-me version of himself. The story hasn't expanded upon Hoshina's childhood much, but what we do know is that Soshiro grew up very disciplined, and the Hoshina family line is one that takes immense pride in perfecting the blade fighting and also serving to defeat Kaiju. His family's been slaying Kaiju since the Muromachi period, so this is obviously not only pride, but literally the only way that Hoshina knows how to live. And if you think I'm reaching, then don't forget that we were just recently introduced to a Soshiro relative. Matsumoto brought his family member Soichiro Hoshina into the story. Soichiro also utilizes a blade in battle, and from what we've seen, he even has similar mannerisms to Soshiro. I have to imagine that all Hoshinas believe that they are born to slay Kaiju. They are natural born protectors in a sense, which is funny because the last name Hoshina actually contains the kanji for family and protect. Serving and protecting proves their worth to themselves. Growing up, Hoshina practiced with his blades relentlessly to ready himself for carrying the torch of slaying kaiju. This practice led to an advanced proficiency, yet his father told him early, give up on joining the defense force. If this were the Edo period, you'd be lauded as a prodigy. But the era of blades is long over. Try to understand, Soshiro. This was a pivotal moment in Soshiro's childhood. This marked the first of many times that people told him to give up on his dreams. He was very proficient with his blades, but due to his lack in marksman skills, and with kaiju over the years doubling in size and fortitude, a lot of people just thought that it was quite literally a death sentence to send Hoshina out to fight kaiju with his blades. As he grew in age, every corner that he turned to, people told him to give up and apply himself somewhere else in life. But Soshiro just took those words of doubt and continued to train and become stronger until he met a special someone. And this special person is Captain of the 3rd Division, Mina Ashiro. Mina saw Soshiro's skills and immediately asked him to join her force because she needs his abilities. And Hoshina was confused. But dog, whenever I say that Mina said that she needed Soshiro, she needed him. She is terrified of blades and doesn't want to touch them at all. If you go back and reread, Mina even said that she's afraid to touch kitchen knives. So at some point in this series, I would love to see some off-script thing where Hoshina has to cook dinner or something for Mina because she's afraid to touch a knife to make it for herself. But on a real note, for the first time in his life as a modern kaiju slayer, someone wanted him for his swordsmanship. Mina said, when I need to shoot a threat, can I trust that you will clear a path for me? And these were the words that guided the Hoshina that we see today. Hoshina will do anything possible to be able to fight alongside Mina and be the comrade that clears a path for her when she needs it. And the time where we saw this most was during the Hoshina and Mina fight with Kaiju number 10. Hoshina had already been fighting 10 by himself for 11 plus minutes, dog. Can you believe that? Hoshina was fighting a Dai Kaiju with a fortitude of 9.0 one-on-one for 11 plus minutes. He had been hit multiple times by Kaiju number 10, and his suit was overheated, so it was at the point where his output percentage was lower than normal. In all aspects, Hoshina should not have been fighting anymore. But Mina showed up in heroic fashion and needed a path cleared to destroy 10. It was at this moment where Hoshina gave all of us goosebumps. He cut through 10's legs and told his body to work with him for just 5 more seconds. Just 5 more seconds is what he knew that he needed to cut and cut and cut and clear a path for Mina. Because to Soshiro, that is the only thing that proves that he exists. Mina is the only one that validated Hoshina for what he is. Just recounting this gives me chills. Plus, the fight with number 10 was for sure a top 2 battle in this series. To be honest, after the 10 raid arc, Hoshina kind of took a little bit of a break from the story. But then whenever he came back, it was in very typical fashion. We saw him coming back and he was training Kafka in the Kaiju slaying squadron style technique, as well as he finally got to use the Kaiju number 10 suit. Seeing him use the Kaiju number 10 suit has been nothing short of hilarious because of the adjustment that it's going to be for him. Hoshina is interacting with a sentient Kaiju number 10 suit. It has fully kept its will from whenever it was alive, so it can communicate with Hoshina with words. This whole time that we've seen them adjusting to each other, it's been nothing but them arguing with each other. They've argued with each other about strategy versus charging in head on. They've argued about going left versus right. And right now, we love seeing this interaction because we wanted number 10 to keep his personality. And this is because we love how brash Kaiju number 10 is. He's very bold, brolic, and in your face and wants to take things head on. While Hoshina is more of a cold and calculated thinker and approaches things very methodically. And this has resulted in them constantly clashing. But in the most recent chapter, we learned that Hoshina finally learned there's no point in trying to have a pride contest with the most prideful kaiju, and these two are finally in sync, and we are going to get to see them in action for the first time together, truly working in tandem. Now, what's funny is, I would be one to beg and argue that Hoshina and Kaiju number 10 are much more alike than Vice Captain Hoshina thinks. Now, even though Eddie and Venom clash sometimes, whenever they work together, they really perform great things. And I think that Hoshina and Kaiju number 10 can have a very similar situation. Now, Kaiju number 10 knows they can work great together, and that's part of the reason that he wanted to get weaponized by Hoshina, right? Both are stronger than most, so they have no problem charging in head on and fighting. 10's favorite thing is the thrill of a fight with strong foes. While Soshiro may not think of it in this way, Hoshina enjoys fighting more than he knows, and let me prove it to you. First, he's trained his whole life just to do this, fight Kaiju. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that if you do something your whole life, you probably enjoy it to some extent. And second, think of whenever Soshiro charged in to fight Kaiju number 8 alone, because he is the 3rd Division neutralization force by himself. He fears no opponent, not even a Dai Kaiju with the fortitude of 9.8. So it's evident that Hoshina likes to fight, and that's part of what drew Kaiju number 10 into Hoshina in the first place, plus some ulterior motives. But Kaiju number 10 is really going to bring out the demon side of Hoshina, and I'm very excited to see that in the future. Maybe I'll do a nice little update on this video when that time comes. I think one thing we all love about Hoshina is what I referenced in my opening. He's truly just an awesome sensei to everyone, but especially to our main character, Kafka Hibino. If you ask any reader of the series, they'll tell you one of the best parts of this series is the dynamic of Hoshina being a mentor to Kafka. Matsumoto actually said that Soshiro is his go-to character, and it's easy to see that whenever you watch the way that Hoshina guides Kafka. Though in the beginning of the relationship it was really built on Hoshina getting comic relief from Kafka, that quickly emerged to Hoshina being one of the only people that truly believed in Kafka. Not only that, but he was also suspicious of Kafka being Kaiju number 8 from the get-go. Kafka was always getting advocated for by Hoshina. Even though Kafka could only use 1% of his suit, Soshiro jokingly said that he believes in at least 1% of Kafka. Both Hoshina and Kafka's aspirations are to fight alongside Mina for different reasons. Regardless, since they both have the same goal, they have a funny rivalry of who's gonna get to fight by Mina's side. Kafka's constantly striving to get there, while Hoshina is always there to let him know just how far away from Mina he is. Their relationship is a lot of comic relief for the series, but it's also Hoshina continuing to be the man that Kafka can lean on. Kafka is 30 plus years old and not the man that he wants to be yet. Because of that, he lacks confidence and experience. Hoshina continually affirms Kafka, gives him awesome advice on how to be a more effective soldier, and even better advice on how to be a better man. Also, I mean this in the least sadist way possible, but it's just hilarious watching Hoshina put the blades up to Kafka's neck. And bro, I will put pictures up on the screen, but there's just no way for me to say that last sentence and for that shit not to sound weird. But I started asking myself, how do you even begin to sum up a character that is so deeply rooted to the story, yet operates so much so behind the scenes? But I think that's the perfect way to describe it. Matsumoto made Vice Captain of the 3rd Division, Soshiro Hoshina, a character that has a nonchalant and lazy appearance. Yet, from every single context given, there is not a single person in the Defense Force that works more relentlessly. The different capacities that Hoshina serves in proves the exact opposite of laziness. It proves grit and determination. He's a perfect character to show the common trope of, don't judge a book by its cover. Because if you do, then you might get hit with a squadron-style punch from Hoshina. But thank you for watching this video. Arigato mas. And if you did enjoy it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And other than that, you can check out any of the other Kaiju videos that I've dropped. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace.